Noon hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's get it. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm racked with nerves for both BYU and Utah.
Yeah.
Because it's do or die.
That it is.
Final 3 games of the season, and it's just crunch time. And there's no room, there's no margin for mistake. And everything has to be a little more clean. Everything's got to be a little more perfect. You know, because both BYU and Utah could realistically be eliminated this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
From Big 12 championship competition.
Maybe not mathematically, but for all intents and purposes, yes.
For all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
They would, if both suffered a loss, if BYU suffered a loss and Utah won, BYU's pretty much out with their 2 losses. It's going to be an uphill climb. If Utah suffers a loss, 3 losses, they are out.
Yeah.
I think Utah's margins are probably a little bit more narrow than BYU's. But I guess, Scotty, after years and years and years of being in this market with you, and sometimes on the same station, sometimes not, but covering Bronco through Mountain West Conference play and Independence and Kalani and Independence and Big 12 play, and it's like there's not a lot of times when it was crunch time that BYU answered the call.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's hard because I look back to Broncos time, and I was probably more critical on air than I should have been.
Same, 100%.
Because I wanted Bronco to get over the hump. I wanted him to become nationally relevant. I wanted BYU to be in a big conversation at the end, and it was like every year there was a hiccup. And early on with Kalani and Independence, hiccups. And, you know, I watched Utah in the Pac-12. When it was blank cutting time, Utah answered the call.
Mm-hmm.
Made it to the Pac-12 championship game. Made it to the Rose Bowl. You know, I think that's one thing that really sets Kyle Whittingham aside is when it came down to it, he answered the call when there were 3 games left in a season. So I'm looking at Kalani and I'm looking at this BYU football team. I think it's good enough. I think the talent is good enough. I even think your true freshman quarterback is good enough.
Yeah.
I think this coaching staff is good enough. But I get these crazy anxieties because I don't want to cut the mic on Monday and say,
there it goes.
It happened again.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut the mic on
Sunday morning
for our Sunday morning podcast, The Map, and have you started out, and me groggy because it's an 8:30 kick. We're going to be doing it at 5:30 in the morning. I probably won't even get off air. I'll probably have about an hour.
I'll be driving into my driveway from Vegas.
And you're going to ask me about it, and I'm just going to be surly and say, there it is again. Because last year was such a setup and such a perfect opportunity. You were 9-0. You had Kansas at home.
Yeah.
Yep. You could have beat Arizona State.
Yeah.
You know, slow start, nice comeback, opportunity at the end. If that ball is just a little further outside, it's complete for a touchdown. Like, you had Arizona State. Kansas, you should have beat Kansas. It's that stupid muff punt. You know, people say, well, you lucked into the 9 wins to start the season. No. You unlucked in that game against Kansas because that was such a bummer. And so you asked me how I'm doing, Scotty, and these are the stupid things I sit around and think of because, look, to pull back the curtains, and I don't care if people know it because you're the ones that do it, that listen. When they lose, you're out.
Yeah.
When they lose, you don't tune in Sunday morning. We see it.
Yeah, we do.
We go from 45, 50 downloads all the way down to 12 or 15 downloads.
I know. Like a 100% drop.
And then we really start to wonder why we even get up and do it.
And Nate's like, why am I even paying you guys?
He thinks that anyway.
I know, right?
I mean, with or without the numbers, I'm sure he beats his head against the wall.
So it does feel like everybody's wiggle room has been used. Any kind of leeway you had is gone, especially for Utah. When Utah lost to BYU, it was playoffs immediately afterwards, and they've responded with blowout victories. And then as soon as BYU left Lubbock with that first loss, okay, you had a little bit of wiggle room. Now it's gone. So what are you going to do now? And I'm really fascinated at watching this BYU team because when we started the show on Wednesday, the Cougar Preview show, and I said, Hans, I'm nervous about this. I don't feel good about this. And you're like, okay, well, let's look at this thing on paper. Let's look at the matchups. And everything just screams BYU. Just screams BYU. Winning the game and winning it big.
Beating TCU.
TCU. Like, there's no matchups that you can look at in this game and say, ooh, that makes me nervous. Yeah. Like, BYU should roll in this game.
They should.
But I'm like you. I'm like, what? I don't feel like I can. And it's because of what we've seen in the past. Like last year. You know, the weird muff punt, the weird things, that bounces that happen in a game that sometimes don't go BYU's way. Or Utah, looking like they're trucking along nicely and then has that kind of like a, what was that? Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Like, if both these teams, I think we were the whole both of them playing in the Big 12 championship game. That's probably in the rearview mirror. But one of these two teams still very much alive for the Big 12 championship game. Still very much alive for the college football playoffs. And they just can't screw it up. They just can't screw it up.
I'll give you a for instance, okay? Because I was going through that this morning because I was thinking, why is Kyle Whittingham over the hump? Why is he over the hump? Why is he a legend? Why is his legacy already sealed? If he quits tomorrow, you still got to put a Kyle Whittingham statue.
Amen.
And I'll tell you why. You go back to the 2022 season. They start that Pac-12 season 2-1. They lost that game to number 18 UCLA, 42-32. That cut their margin out. They go on a 4-game win streak. They beat number 7 USC. Do you remember that game? Mm-hmm. 1-point win. They beat Washington State. They beat Arizona. They beat Stanford. And their margin's very, very thin. They're sitting 6-1 in Pac-12 play. And they lose to number 12 Oregon, 20-17. They go to 6-2. They're still statistically in the running for the Pac-12 championship. They have to beat Colorado on November 26th. Coming out of that Oregon loss, they had to beat Colorado. They go out there and they beat them 63-20. They leave no questions on the field. They beat the living hell out of Colorado. Now, we were still talking about it at that time. Like, okay, you make it to the Pac-12 championship, but what does that even mean? Even though it was a great moment, what does that mean if you can't get to the Rose Bowl? Well, Kyle Whittingham goes into that Pac-12 championship against number 4 USC and beats them 47-24 to make it to a Rose Bowl. Now, that Rose Bowl was a little bit different because that Penn State team was tough, and they lost 35-21. We all know, I'm sure that one of the biggest regrets or one of the biggest, kicks to Kyle Whittingham's midsection is his Rose Bowl performances, because he'd love to have a Rose Bowl victory. But getting there was the battle.
Yes.
And he got there.
Yeah. And
they did it with clutch play in big moments. They go put 47 points on USC. I remember I was there. I covered that game. I'll go to the year before. The year before, 2021, they start the season 3-1 in Pac-12 play. Remember, they had the stumble against Oregon State.
Yes.
They lost to them 42-34.
And didn't they even lose to San Diego State at the beginning of that season?
They did. BYU and San Diego State, yes.
Yep.
And that is that crazy season where they ended up finishing crazy. But, okay, so they're sitting 4-3 on September 23rd after that loss to Oregon State. 4-3. 3-1 in Pac-12 play. They run off wins against UCLA, Stanford, Arizona. They beat number 3 Oregon, had zero margin. They beat number 3 Oregon 38-7
yeah.
at Rice-Eccles Stadium. They beat Colorado And then they rematch with Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. They beat them 38-10. They beat them by 28 points.
Put it on them again.
So, I look at it, and I do believe that the Big 12 is a more difficult task than this Pac-12 was.
Yeah, I agree with that. From top to bottom,
Pac-12
for sure.
just didn't play offense.
Yeah.
They didn't have home fields. There were a lot of things that. Now, I did like the quarterback play in 2022. Was it 21 or 22 when the quarterback play was, or was it 23?
I think it was 23.
When the quarterback play was just deep. There were a couple of really good years of high-level quarterback play, but that's kind of where it stopped.
But I think if you took the very top and the very bottom, I think the Pac-12 was pretty top-heavy
with USC
and Oregon.
Yeah.
But if you were to take the very top and the very bottom and put them next to each other, I think the Big 12, top to bottom, is a better conference.
It's a better conference.
Yeah.
I do believe that. But that does not trivialize. That does not diminish what Kyle Whittingham's teams pulled off in 21 and 22. Okay, I bring those up for reference because in those years, 3-game finishes, and both BYU and Utah are on 3-game finishes right now. And both of them pretty much control their destiny. For the most part, they both pretty well control their destiny. If Utah finishes with 3 wins, regardless of their opportunity to play in the Big 12 championship, they have to be looked at based off their numbers, all of their national rankings from total offense, total defense, scoring offense, scoring defense, everything else that's in between, their third down efficiencies, all those things. They got to be looked at as one of the best teams in the country, and they have to be ranked probably number 9. They're sitting number 13. If they win 3 games, you got teams above them that are going to get their third loss, including Oklahoma and Notre Dame, that are going to drop. They'll jump them, and they control their own destiny, whether they make it to the Big 12 championship or not. BYU can't say the same thing. They have not been given the favor of belief from pollsters, from predictors, from Vegas, from anybody. Everybody still doubts them. Everybody's still doubting them. A 3.5-point favorite against TCU? Are you freaking kidding me? They should beat TCU by 21 points.
Yeah. And I think they will.
Honestly, they should beat TCU by 24. That's what the numbers show. They should beat TCU by 24 points in LaVell Edwards Stadium on a night kick. TCU's done. They got whooped by Iowa State. They're 3-3 in conference. They don't care. They got nothing to play for. Yes, Sonny's probably saying, "Hey, we play for pride. Hey, we're still trying to get to that Pop-Tarts Bowl. Hey, we're trying to fight for the Alamo. And it's like, no. You put their head in mud within the first 8 minutes of the first quarter, and then you end up winning by 24. And then the pollsters are like, oh, geez, man, maybe we've got this wrong.
Yeah.
But if you got to overcome a 10-point deficit again, you might not.
Well,
maybe BYU cracks at that point and says, well, maybe people are right. Maybe we shouldn't have been in the AP top 25 to start the season. Maybe we shouldn't even be here in consideration. We were teasing ourselves anyway with a true freshman. Like that, those things will start. If you go into the third quarter and you're trying to overcome a 10-point deficit, those things are going to be in their mind.
Yeah. I mean, you can't Colorado this thing where they were down 14-0 right out of the gate. And then they came back and they won, and that was nice.
It was an impressive, gutty comeback.
All that stuff is true. But all pollsters are going to see, and all your college football playoff committee is going to see, is the final score, because you're relegated at 8 o'clock at night, so nobody back east is going to be watching. So they're going to open up the box score, and they're going to be like, oh, BYU won by 14 or but won by 4, and they were down by 10 at the beginning of the second quarter. Yeesh. And that's all they're going to look at. They're not going to look at guttiness. They're not going to look at, all the stuff that went into it.
No, and then they'll favor Cincinnati next week.
Oh, yeah.
The pollsters will believe that Cincinnati's going to knock them off. That's the facts. So 24-point win against TCU, you got to do it at some point.
Yeah.
Because TCU, that's more credibility than West Virginia. Your win over West Virginia just doesn't take you that far.
No.
A good, solid win over a 3-3 TCU team that's got a really good quarterback, that's going to give you the credibility, the street cred that you've been looking for. And so I look at this thing and I'm like, I've already sealed Kalani's legacy at BYU. But that's because he's one of my best friends. It's because he's my teammate. That's because he's a world-class human being. Like, his legacy is sealed for me. I don't know. Is it sealed in Cougar Nation that he's the second best head coach all time behind LaVell Edwards? Did he surpass Bronco Mendenhall in the Big 12 era? If he can't finish a 3-game stretch with a team that's already shown incredible promise with an 8-0 start, and it collapses again, then people are just going to be like, we need the guy that gets us over the hump. We remember those conversations for Bronco. I don't want those conversations for Kalani.
Yeah. I mean, if you go 9-0 to start a season, 8-0 to start the next season, and neither one of those teams goes to a Big 12 title game, there's, the haters have some ammunition. I don't agree with it, but they'll have some ammunition.
And seeing that in the era of NIL, when BYU went pot heavy.
Yeah.
If BYU wasn't pot heavy,
and they were scrappy doing it with a bunch of nobodies,
then you know what? I'd sit on air and I'd blame BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I'd blame the fundraisers. I'd blame Brian Santiago. I'd blame the BYU. I can't right now. Now, I think that Kalani got a really nice extension. I'm hoping that he feels well compensated, well loved, and I'm hoping that these players feel well compensated and well loved, and I'm hoping both of them answer the call for the logo. Does that make sense?
Yep, I get you.
Because the logo put the money in. It's the same with Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith builds these brand new. We're about 100 yards away from these brand new ice hockey facilities. They're gorgeous, state of the art.
Mm-hmm.
I went over to the presser the other day, got to take a look at it. Went and sat down with some of the front office. But awesome. The Mammoth are so well taken care of. The way the Delta Center is being rebuilt, the money that's being positioned for the downtown rebuild, it's all for you, Mammoth. It's for you, Jazz. Austin, Danny Ainge, head coach all the way through the staff.
Yep. Bill Armstrong.
You're all compensated well. The players are given whatever they want. Now, at some point, you got to return it to the logo, which is SEG. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with us, Scotty. I mean, it's the same with anybody. KSL treats us like kings. They do. They treat us really good. So what do we do for them?
We bust our butt.
Damn right. We put in 3-4 hours in the morning before we get to these headsets. We watch every game that we can possibly watch. Scotty calls all the Utah State games. I call the BYU football games. Like, we put our time in it so that Nate Dowdle can go to his bosses and say, hey, I can tell they're working hard.
Yeah.
At some point, Kalani Sitake and this team have to do it for the logo. Because I feel like the logo is doing it for them.
And we've been pretty open and honest when the logo wasn't doing it for them.
Oh, hell yeah. No, I don't mess with that.
Yeah.
Look, if I don't feel I've seen some of the inner workings. If I felt like BYU was shortchanging, I would stand here and say, hey, give Kalani what Kalani needs to be successful. I would. I feel like they have.
Yeah, we spent an hour on the radio once talking about the the intramural soccer team kicking off the football team out of the practice facility. That was ridiculous. Yeah. Shouldn't have ever happened. And guess what? That stuff's not happening anymore.
I was irate.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was irate because the intramural.
Yeah.
It was the intramural rugby coach ushered me out the door. I'm standing there trying to cover BYU practice, and he's like, hey, come on, we got to change out. And I'm seeing this women's and men's, it's not even a sanctioned league, come in for their rugby practice. And I'm watching, at the time, I think it was Reno Mahe and Ty Detmer.
Yeah.
Walk off the field shaking their heads. I'm like, no, this is stupid. You can't do this to the football team. Like, they own this place.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, to that point, I'm sorry I got on this diatribe, but you asked me how I'm doing, and it's been heavy on my mind.
Yeah.
So, how am I doing? I feel like BYU's got the team. They've got the coaching staff. They put the money in. And I feel like BYU is pot committed. And now I feel like they're holding two pair. Aces and 10, two pair. King kicker. And I don't know what the other three hands at the table that pushed in have. I think that the two pair ace-10 is going to hold.
Yeah. A pair of jacks on the flop. You're making you a little nervous.
I feel like the ace-10 is going to hold. Pair of jacks on the flop. But I feel like it's going to hold. I feel like it should hold. And if it doesn't, then it's like, gosh, now what do we got to talk about? What do we talk about? Well, do we start to blame the true freshman? Well, we knew that, this is going to be a long season with the true freshman. No, we didn't, because they started 8-0. So we knew that the true freshman was capable. We knew that the scheme that was dialed up was capable. I guess I'm looking at the horizon thinking, I don't want to have to talk about dumb things.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Big 12 championship games.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Utah finishing 3-0, controlling their destiny, missing the Big 12 championship game. But the CFP knows that these are dogs. CFP knows they're dogs.
Yeah. So that's how Hans doing. Lloyd, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm pretty pent up, buddy.
It's all good. That's good radio.
I just don't want to see him stumble.
No. And I don't want to talk about bad football.
No.
I don't want to talk about disappointing football. I don't want to talk about we've been spoiled. This has been fun. I've enjoyed this.
Can we all agree if BYU or Utah loses this weekend, we don't do this Sunday morning? Or do we have to do it?
I think we kind of have to. I think we're obligated to.
All right.
Do we, though?
Oh, geez, Lloyd, if you're saying no, then hell no.
If the boss is saying no.
Of course we have to do it. Are you kidding me? We owe this to our, what would be then, 13 listeners.
Oh, I'd be less than that.
Yeah. 10 listeners, 5.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All college football all day. It's a Football Friday right here on the Zone. Whether it's the Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, we've got you covered. This is a Football Friday edition of Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a great day. Make sure to join Jake and Ben. Coming up on Tuesday of next week, Belliston Jewelry in Ogden, 1155 36th Street. Belliston Jewelry, locally made just for you, cherished for generations. All right, busy weekend for me and Hans. You'll be in Lavelle Edwards Stadium, BYU against TCU. After the show, I'm going to hop in my Mazda, drive on down to Las Vegas, Utah State, and UNLV. Cam Walker, the athletic director at Utah State, will join us coming up at 2:05.
How are you feeling about that game?
Actually, I feel pretty good.
Because UNLV is pretty good.
UNLV's are really good, 7-2. They have lost 2 out of their last 3. Boise put it on them. New Mexico beat them. But I think Utah State's
UNLV,
right now.
Fresno, Boise, 2 of the 3 on the road?
Yes, Fresno and Vegas on the road, Boise at home.
So Boise at home.
Yeah, and you got to win one. But, I was with Bronco Mendenhall last night on the coach's show, and there was a bunch of players on the team that were down there. The team's pretty confident.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a tough game, and I think that they can get it done. I just – the way they played in that last game against Nevada, and I know Nevada is the basement dweller in the Mount West Conference, but the way they played against Nevada,
yeah,
it gives you some hope as an Aggie fan that they'll finish this the right way. And I do think it's important. I actually think the way they finish and then their bowl performance is all important because Bronco's in his beginning stages. He's trying to build something that provides Aggie fans with a little bit of confidence.
And I think that you're also, if you're Utah State, after what you dealt with last year, and all the turmoil in the athletic department with the president and everything. All right, you've got your president in place. Looks like a home run hire. Athletic director, I can tell you for a fact that's a home run hire. You've got Bronco Mendenhall, one of the most stable, reliable coaches in the history of college football. Like, you needed stability, and you got it. You needed good individuals in place. You got it. And I think the turmoil is now in the rearview mirror. Knock on wood for Utah State. Now you can just focus on football. You can focus on fundraising, getting sponsors, getting that NIL money, and then it's off to the races because you got a new conference you're going into, and it just feels like that black cloud above the athletic department is lifted. There was a lot of issues, some that, frankly, I would love to talk about but probably shouldn't, but those are all gone now.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's in the rearview mirror. So you got good people in place. You got good people running it. You're not over your skis trying to be somebody you're not. You know who you are. You've come back to people who know and appreciate who you are.
Man, that is nice. You got the president, AD, and head coach, both head coaches, football and basketball. That is a pretty nice. And this is one of the very first times in a long time with Utah State that I can back and endorse all four.
Yes. Yep.
That I feel all good about all four.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, I don't have some underlying bad feelings. Like, I don't know.
Well, look. I think Utah State has been blessed with phenomenal leadership at their football and basketball program over the last, 10 years, last 7 years.
Yeah, they have.
I cannot say as much for other positions in that athletic department.
But now I do.
And
I feel like they've got Utah State people in there.
I mean, they had good people in that athletic department, but not people that were ultimately having final decisions over the last couple of years. And now you've got good, capable people. You could have hired really good, capable people, but decided not to, and you got over your skis a little bit trying to be somebody you're not. Now you've come back and realized, okay, this is who Utah State is. This is who we are.
And,
let's dial it in.
And correct me if I'm wrong. If football and basketball over the next 3 or 4 years are very, very successful, I think there's a possibility you keep all four of those individuals in place.
I do. 100%.
President isn't taking off. Athletic director is not taking off.
Nope.
Do you think?
No, I don't. I mean,
I don't get a feel that any of the four. I know Bronco's staying.
Yeah.
Because there's been some good, deep conversations with Bronco. I feel like Coach Calhoun he's been around the rat race.
Yeah.
And I think he knows he's got a Stu Morrill type situation here where he could play here the next 13 years in this new reformed Pac-12 and get everything he wants.
Yeah.
They'll have all the NCAA tournament access in the world. You're going to have to go to some of the farmers around the community. You're going to have to make sure Calhoun gets a bucket of cash if he performs well. Same with Bronco. But I feel like you got an athletic director that understands it, and the athletic director's not going to take off. So I just feel like it's a pretty darn good situation.
There have been people there that have taken jobs at Utah State knowing that it's a stepping stone. Look, I don't think – look, I don't know what the future holds for Jared Calhoun. I don't know what the future holds for Cam Walker. They may get some crazy offer in a year or two that they can't turn down, and that's fine. But they're not taking a job, or they haven't taken the job, or not currently looking to leave. I can't say the same about other coaches and other athletic directors that have gotten the job and said, okay, you know what, we're just going to buckle down, grin our teeth, and bear it for a year or two. And the search firm that placed us said, hey, get in there, do some good work, and then we'll get you to another job here pretty soon. But just if you can just deal with Cache Valley for a little bit, you'll be fine, and we'll get you somewhere else. There's not that vibe anymore. That was the vibe with Diana Sabo. That Diana Sabo was there because she was told to be there by a search firm, and by the way, this is me speculating here. But Diana Sabo was never going to be at Utah State for a long time. It just wasn't. She knew that she had to cut her teeth as an athletic director to get to where she wanted to be as a long-term person in a Power 5 conference. Like, that's just the case. I think Ryan Odom took the job at Utah State as the basketball coach with full anticipation of getting a job somewhere else and just trying to build a resume. The people that are in place right now at Utah State aren't looking to build resumes for their next job. If another opportunity comes, I'm sure that, you know what, they'll look at it and see, is it good for our family? Is it a good opportunity for us? Okay, then we'll talk more about it. But we're not actively looking for that next job. We're not sending out resumes across the country and telling our search firm, get me the heck out of here. I don't like it here. I don't feel like I'm a fit for this community. I want out. Mm-hmm. That hasn't always been the case. There's been people that get the jobs and go, okay, you know what? I'm just going to bite my tongue and we're just going to deal with this and beg that search firm can find me somewhere else. And meanwhile, I'll hire other coaches or other people that the search firm tells me to, so I stay on their good side so that they can get me the heck out of here. That's not the case anymore.
And it's so important to be stabilized now because this Pac-12 venture, it's going to have rough waters. It's going to be a bumpy entrance. You got to have people that are willing to stick through, that have some knowledge of the adjustments. Bronco knows it. Coach Calhoun knows it.
Yep.
They'll be all right.
Yeah.
They'll find their way through it.
They'll be great. All right, Hans and Scotty, the man himself. Hey, look, the weather may be turning a bit. What's it going to look like in Provo coming up tomorrow? What's it going to look like in Baylor for Utah? Vegas, it's a dome, so we don't really care, and it's Vegas, so we know what we're going to get down there. But we'll break it down with the man himself, Chief Meteorologist for KSL. Kevin Eubank joins us straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All college football, all day. It's a Football Friday right here on the Zone. Whether it's the Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, we've got you covered. This is a Football Friday edition of Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is a Football Friday, and we understand that if you're going to games, you need to be well prepared. Nobody's going to have you more prepared for what you're going to deal with in these stadiums than our next guest. You hear him every Friday at this time, Kevin Eubank, Chief Meteorologist Supreme, CEO of all things weather. It is the man, the myth, the legend. K-Bank, how are you?
Hello, K-Bank.
Hey guys, how we doing today?
Oh, so good.
Better now.
It's great to hear your voice, buddy.
Well, I'm glad that you're not in Texas anymore, Hans. Is that a win for you?
Oh, man. That's a win and a win because Lubbock is a beast to get to. I felt like Steve Martin in Trains Planes. You got to take cars, you got to take trains, you got to take buses. It's the worst.
Those aren't pillows.
Those aren't pillows. That's all true. Well, good stuff. We got a whole slate of games today or this weekend, don't we?
Yeah, let's start with Utah in Waco taking on Baylor. What's Kyle Whittingham and the crew going to see down there?
You know what? Tell me what time that kick is. That's not an early kick, is it? That's at midday, isn't it?
That's a 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yep.
Come on, I was trying to be optimistic for him. It actually is looking good. We're talking mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the 80s for kickoff, dropping down into the 70s, winds under 10 miles an hour, and clear skies. So Waco, Baylor, the whole deal, weather will not be a factor in that game at all.
Well, that weather was decent in Lubbock. You called that one. At least the weather was okay. A little bit of wind that picked up, but the weather was pretty good. All right, let's come back here. LaVell Edwards Stadium, BYU kicking off against the TCU Horned Frog. How's things looking at 8:30 in the late evening in Provo?
It actually is looking pretty good. Very mild. We're talking temperatures in the 50s, dropping into the upper 40s by the fourth quarter. Lots of clouds around, a little breezy, but you honestly couldn't ask for a better night in LaVell Edwards Stadium here for the middle of November. So we've had some cold games. This one's going to be cloudy, a little breezy, but warm. And because of the late start, I mean, it always gets cold. So you're starting after dark or after sunset, and you'll go from 50s into the upper 40s. But should be a great game in Provo, and weather also won't be a factor there.
Well, weather really won't be a factor in Las Vegas because that game's indoors. But for those of us that are are not flying but driving down to Las Vegas. We're going to be all right? Everything looking good down I-15?
Hey, man, thermostat is set. 72 in the dome. It's the only forecast I can get 100% accurate every single time are those indoor games. But we are going to fight a little bit of precipitation. So if you're headed down today, you're going to find a little bit of moisture as you crawl into Las Vegas. But tomorrow, that storm system is all south of us. So really, it isn't Utah that's your issue. It's once you clear Utah and get down towards Las Vegas, you may run into a little bit of rain, but nothing that's going to stop your progress or be of any hindrance to you at all.
So, Kevin, my wife's making me rip out tomato plants Saturday morning. She says there's storms coming next week. So do I need to get my tomato plants ripped out this Saturday morning?
Okay, so let's just back up. I guarantee you're not ripping out tomato plants on Saturday morning, Hans. Can we just be honest with the audience?
Oh, I'm going to hey, look, I do anything that Miss Amanda asks me to do. I like anything, and Scotty can attest. I will do anything.
So what happens is Miss Amanda tells Hans to rip him out, and then Hans yells at his daughters to go rip him out.
They will get ripped out one way or the other.
That sounds very, very logical. And the truth is, next week, we are going to experience a total pattern shift. So yesterday, Salt Lake was 73 degrees, broke a record from the 1950s. We've never been that warm on that date. Today, mid-60s. Tomorrow, mid-60s. Very warm for this time of year, but it all crashes starting Sunday. Valley rain, mountain snow on Sunday. We'll keep the valley rain into Monday and Tuesday. And then Tuesday night into Wednesday, snow levels lower to the bench, gets cold, drops into the 30s, maybe a little rain-snow mix in the air. We're not anticipating accumulating snow yet in the valleys, but it's definitely going to be some snowflakes flying, and then we just start a whole different temperature profile. Highs in the 40s and 50s, which is normal to below normal, lows dipping into the 20s and 30s. It gets cold. Resorts start making snow and keeping snow, and my guess is we'll have resorts opening here in the next week and a half with the cold weather change we're going to have.
I mean, I know that it has to happen, but I don't really want it to, Kevin. I'm getting old, man.
This year's been so hard because it's been so nice, and everyone says exactly what you just said. I know it's got to change, but do we have to? And we don't have a choice, but it is going to change. So find your sweaters, find your thick socks, find a dumpster for the tomato plants. It's
Someday the climate doomsdayers are going to be right. We're going to have 60-degree weather all through winter. It's going to happen.
Wouldn't that be marvelous? We just take that.
Yeah.
That is called San Diego. You know that, right?
Oh, it would be lovely.
Come on. It's all there. It's just not where we are. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, Kevin, hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy all the football games, and we can't wait to chat with you again next week.
Love and respect, brother.
You too, guys. Enjoy the call. See ya.
You're the best. Kevin Eubank, Chief Meteorologist for KSL, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So grateful he's willing to do that for us. We
I
love
know.
having him on, getting his insights. And, Scotty, things are about to turn.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. We had a good run, but we knew eventually winter was going to hit, and apparently it's going to hit next week.
It's here.
Yeah. All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.